Yes, you know what? I will note all these questions and I will ask them later on. It's gonna have a Canadian flair for sure.
Alright. Sports. Talk. Line.
Do you guys even know where Vancouver Island is? It's not even close to Toronto. Okay, let's get things going. To the Unnamed Sports Show here on the Sports Talk Line Network, where we talk sports 24/7, 365. I am your host, Joshua Griffith, here on this first day of October. So today on the episode, I will be chatting with stadium announcer Don Andrews. Don does voice work for the Vancouver Whitecaps, BC Lions, the Rugby Sevens at BC Place, voiceover work, and a lot more. So going to play a clip for Don and get him to listen and see if he can remember what it was from and talk a bit about that one. So stay tuned for today's show. Before we get going, make sure to like and subscribe down at the bottom if you don't already. For more of the show's highlights, reactions, hit that notification button. So the Vancouver Whitecaps are back into a losing streak after a 1-0 loss to the Portland Timbers and the 6-0 thumping to the LAFC. So they take on the Seattle Sounders on Saturday night at 7 p.m. Don't have any more home matches to look forward to, but I will make sure that I keep you covered for that away match. They actually have media availability. It's going on right now. I think Freddie Montero was just at the podium. Jake Nerwinski just finished. They got back from Vancouver. They were able to go back for I think it was about a 40-hour period. So they're back. It sounds like training went very well yesterday, and they're back ready to go for Saturday's game against the Sounders. Before we get to the interview with Don Andrews, I'm not going to make you wait very long for that. Just want to make sure that you again
I am joined now
on
on
our channel down at the bottom. There's a big blue button.
friend of the show.
It'll give you the
Don
opportunity
Andrews,
with a ton of perks. You can join in, interact with the show. Don, thank you very much for joining me. You get to join us in the green rooms. You can join us on Discord chats. Everything right now. So there's
Thanks for having me, Joshua. We're doing
a lot
right.
of perks you
doing
can get
right.
from that. So
been
and
able
then
to get through the
obviously
first couple
you
weeks
don't have to.
of
You can
school,
interact with me
I'm feeling good
anytime
about it. My kids are
during
still
the
happy
show.
going
You
to
just
school, so
down
we're all
at
good.
the bottom in the comments, and
That's
we
good
love
to
that.
hear.
We
So,
love the comments.
it
We love
must
show
be
interaction. So make sure you get in on this. And if you have any questions or anything like that, let me know too. So my great producer Lee will feed things in for me as we can, and we are going to get right to that interview with Don right now. So my wonderful producer Lee with the amazing hair is going to cue that up for me right now. So. Voice of the Vancouver Whitecaps in stadium. So Don, thank you very much for joining me this afternoon. Hope you and the family are doing well and adapting to back in school and everything right now.
Thanks for having me, Joshua. We're doing all right. We've been able to get through the first couple of weeks of going to school, so I'm feeling good about it. My kids are still happy going to school, so we're all good, man.
That's good to hear. So it must be pretty interesting and tough right now with kids. So I said at the beginning that you're a friend of the show, so I was told that is what you refer to your repeat guests in this business. So Don, you are my first friend of the show, as you were my very first guest way back 6 months ago.
Cool.
So yeah, This is coming full circle here. So this is the 20th episode, I believe. I don't know. Sometimes I get add episodes here and there, as I see fit sometimes. So.
Sweet. Well, thanks for having me back on again. I appreciate it. The first time we had a chat was really good. So
yes, I definitely enjoyed it, and you were on my list of people I wanted to have back on. So, you've done so much in different sports, and you had the chance to do some radio work, some voiceover work, a lot more. So for people who don't know, Don, give us a breakdown of how things started for you in the industry. How did you get to be the one that everyone is yelling back at BC Place, "You're welcome"?
I'm so fortunate. So I went to broadcasting school, and I was in school, and a girl called me one day, and she was like, "You got to do this job." And I thought, well, okay, I can try it. The Vancouver Canadians were looking for a PA announcer at the time. Mm-hmm. So I went there, and I got the job, and that kind of snowballed into getting in touch with the Vancouver Giants, and then getting in touch with the BC Lions, and then people that had worked with the BC Lions had gone over to work for the Whitecaps, and funny little story, actually, how I came to really full circle work for the Whitecaps. I worked for WFC2 originally. And Mikey and I, the fellow that works for the Whitecaps, or used to work for the Whitecaps now, sorry, he and I worked together, and he was taking stats and, you know, hitting play on the iPod Shuffle and that sort of thing. And he eventually worked himself right up into a position where he was actually game day operations, and then he moved up into an office managerial position. I wouldn't know what the title of that would be specifically, but he came a really long way. He did a really tremendous job for himself, and he went a really long way inside the organization. And so he and I worked together way back in the day for WFC2, and then we didn't see each other or speak to each other for, I don't know, maybe 3 or 4 years. It was the odd time where I'd drop him a hello and we might see each other. And then my phone rang, and he asked me if I could come and work a Whitecaps game for him. And I was out of town at the time, but I was going to be back very quickly, and didn't want to miss out on my opportunity. So I got back and called him right away, and went in and was given the opportunity to be the luckiest guy in BC Place.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I've been happy enough to be one of the ones yelling back, and you know, we'll get into a little bit more about some of the recent stuff of you, but you know, sent you a pretty little hidden video there from the media box in one of the other home games there, just because I just was compelled to say you're welcome. So
I saw it. I thank you for it. Absolutely.
So that was something that I actually completely forgot. It's not in my notes or anything, but I want to touch on the your work with the Vancouver Canadians. So you must be pretty familiar with Rob Fay. I'm a big fan of his new radio show that's back on the air. So and I'm hoping to have him on. Just if you could touch a little bit about your Vancouver Canadians work, because I mean, we're in baseball season right now. We got playoffs going on. And
geez, I spent a little bit of time there. I was 13 years at the Canadians.
Jeez.
Almost 14 years. I'm so fortunate that I have 4 championship rings to account for. You know, some of the coolest baseball games and some of the best memories that I have were definitely made at Happy Valley Stadium.
So you worked with them until 2017?
Till 2018.
Till 2018.
Maybe 17, 18, might be 17. You're right. Yeah.
Yeah. So you got to see some real good youngsters come up through the Blue Jays system there.
Not just the Blue Jays either. Every other organization up through Spokane, up through Portland, up, you know, all the other organizations that came to Vancouver as well. I mean, we got to see some pretty amazing players that you would also see move along through their system and make their way into Major League Baseball. It's terrific, man. It's terrific. Marcus Stroman, guys like that.
Yeah.
You know, watching that cat pitch was unreal.
I'm trying to think of my timeline. I mean, would you have got to see Nate Pearson and Vladdy and stuff? I guess maybe at their...
No Vladdy. We saw Nate Pearson.
Nate Pearson, though, yeah.
I mean, the list is crazy. I'd have to go back through and look back to see the amount of people and the quality of the players that we saw through, like I said, again, through all the teams, not just the Canadians, but through all the teams.
That's really cool. And I mean, anybody knows, okay, obviously Don's wearing a Whitecaps jersey, and I have my Whitecaps set up in the back. But if anybody knows the show here, then they know it's very sports centric. So when I see a topic that I want to run with, especially Vancouver Canadians baseball, then I'm gonna bring it on board. So
I'm happy to. I work for a wonderful group in every organization, and every organization affords me the opportunity to do my job and have a really, really great time at work. So I talk about everybody, and I'm willing to talk about everybody. This shirt went on today because it was comfortable and kept me warm. So
they are very comfortable, actually. I have a couple different just like polo, like I guess golf ones that are pretty comfortable. Yeah. Like to wear when I throw them on, though, that the people ask me if I work for the Whitecaps. I'm like, no, just a fancy shirt. So joined now on the Unnamed Sports Show by Don Andrews. Don, I'm going to play you a little clip here. I don't know if you're going to be able to hear. Hopefully you should be able to hear it. And we'll listen to the clip. It's pretty short, and then you can we can talk about it after. Okay?
Sure.
On comes 15-year-old Alonzo Davies for his Major League Soccer debut. He's played in the Canadian Championship for the Caps this season. This is his first MLS action after signing a contract yesterday.
So I don't know if you could hear it at all there. I mean, obviously we have the announcers and stuff, but in the background, you can hear the BC Play Stadium announcement call for Alonzo Davies.
Yep.
So I just, I wanted to, obviously I marked that down as kind of as a special moment for you, and obviously a special moment for a lot of Canadians as what we're seeing now. Just wanted to wonder if you could talk about that a little bit.
It was really cool. To be a part of his experience for Alfonso was really cool. But for me, myself, to be able to have that, and now I have that little clip of audio similar to what you have.
Mm-hmm.
I also have it on a video. And I save all these little things. That's really neat because I want to go back one day and look back and see the people that I've had the opportunity to be a part of and introduce. And it's really neat. You can really watch a timeline of people's progress and it's just really super. It's such a great experience watching people grow as athletes, watching them grow as humans. I mean, Alfonso was so young, right? And he's
so baby faced in that video that I had there it was right. So baby faced.
And he's done such a good job of just taking care of himself and becoming a good, mature, balanced human being, really far away from his family, in a situation that was very foreign to him. Yet he seems like the most comfortable and happy and balanced young man. It's amazing.
It is nice to see, and you mentioned just that his maturity as on and off the field, and just one example when he gave the joint speech for the Canada, Mexico, and United States World Cup bid. Just standing in front on the world stage and knowing, and not just he knew it wasn't just North America, it was the world stage, and
absolutely
you could kind of see just from a personality standpoint where this man could maybe go in his life.
And now look, 2 years later, or 2 years after that, well, he's 20 now, so 3 years. Look at him now. Right?
I can't count the number of major trophies he has on one hand.
Good. He's well deserving of it all. He's worked so hard. He's put himself in such a position to succeed that it's, congratulations, Alfonso, for sure.
Absolutely. So the second one, I was trying to find another clip, and unlike you, I probably don't have archived clips of your stadium announcements.
I don't have them all. I have a few. I only have a few. They're really hard to find, and they're hard to come by.
Well, that's what I've obviously found, that normally you just get that. I mean, okay, I love the broadcast guys, don't get me wrong, but that's not what I was looking for. I'm looking for stadium announcers.
Right.
So, but I'm going to give you, and actually this is doing a little bit of research. It was cool to note that you actually did the stadium announcements for the Vancouver Canucks for the very first Vegas Golden Knights preseason game as well.
I did, as a matter of fact. Yeah, I'm pretty fortunate to do all these little odd things that have significance to me more than anything. So, and again, I have that little clip. I had someone record that clip for me in really good quality and then send it to me, because that sort of stuff I want to look back on 20 years from now and remember, oh yeah, I remember that.
And it was cool because I mean, like last time, six months ago, way back when we talked, we touched on a little bit of this stuff, and we got it. So I did, I kind of looked into it a little bit more, and I was like, oh, it's okay. We talked about his first game, he talked about all the experience and getting there and sitting down and how surreal it was. And I'm looking at it, I'm like, wait, he called Vegas, like the Vegas Knights' first preseason game. Like who got to announce? Oh, that was me. No big deal. Like it.
Again, I'm just so fortunate, man. It's been hard work that's led to all of this, but I really just feel very fortunate that I get the call all of a sudden, and they're like, "We'd like you to do this," and that someone trusts you enough to come and work and represent their brand like that. It's a really cool thing. When I worked in the American Hockey League, I was there when Abbotsford came, and I still have my patch and the puck from the inaugural game.
I mean, as you can tell, I keep so much of this stuff. I have like folders of my ticket stubs, all this little things that you would keep. There's my lanyard from actually, a couple weeks ago. And that's kind of what I wanted to chat with a little bit about more is we actually did have some Whitecaps home football matches.
We did.
And so, I mean, it was obviously a very limited number of people. I could see you from afar, and obviously, you know, we were messaging a bit, and but they did a great job at BC Place and with the Whitecaps to make sure that everything was safe and sectioned off
For sure.
during the times. But I mean, what was the whole experience like for you doing, you know, what you do, announcing, and obviously, you know, we were kind of chatting and said, you know, you feed off the vibe and all that. And what was that like for you doing it in an empty stadium?
It's weird, of course, you know, because you're so accustomed to everything. Like, everyone's accustomed to that. And even when hockey started, when there was something happening in the rink, I still expected there to be a reaction, right? It's just an automatic thing. It's something we've been involved in sports for, you know, 100 years at this point. And through all of that, there's always been spectators. There's always been something to react to and something to feed off of. And so it was odd. It was really odd. I mean, the teams did really well. It was a really cool experience. But it's really strange. I ended up doing the job of the fans myself. We just made an adjustment. Instead of the call and response, I just did the call. And it's strange, but it worked. It really worked.
It was nice hearing it. It did bring, you know, from the media booth, there wasn't very much normalcy. Like everything, like I had only been to one game normal, I guess. So this kind of was the new normal, and I guess I should get used to it. So that's kind of like, I guess, good on, or, you know, a bonus for me that's my normal. But,
yeah,
you know, things like, you know, there wasn't the food, there wasn't this, there wasn't that. It was just like, instead of being allowed in at 2:00 to do your, you know, start writing and write for hours, and then being there till, you know, 1 o'clock at night, writing for hours after post game and everything. It was just, okay, this is get in, get out, do your business. And so it was nice, you know, to hear you, and it kind of did bring some normalcy to it.
It did. And, you know, it's, like you said, it's tough because you feed off the crowd, you feed off the energy. But I was also at the point where I hadn't worked in almost 200 days. So I was pretty excited to go to work.
Yeah.
It really didn't take a whole lot for me to get excited. When I got the phone call and they were like, yeah, we're going to do some home games. Really? Oh, man, that's exciting. Because it was just, I was so missing, not just the sports and the fans and everything else. I miss the people that I work with, and that's a big part of it. You get to work with these groups of people. And a lot of people overlap. But your groups are one, they're all really great people. So I missed that interaction a lot. So it was nice to have that for a bit. We actually said, we talked for a few minutes, and then 3 or 4 of us were standing around, and someone I was standing with just suddenly commented and said, isn't it nice to just be sitting here talking about sports? And I said, oh yeah, just to chat about it, just to have a chat and talk about it, and just, you know, have an opinion and complain to somebody else about it and have them agree with you or disagree with you. It didn't really matter. We just wanted to talk.
I forget which game it was. I think it was the second game, but there was about 4. They had the tennis, the U.S. Open on the TV. Right. And there was about 4 or 5 of us, just gathering around. We were watching the TV in the media booth. We were just watching tennis. This is about an hour and a half before the match started. And yes, we were all just talking about tennis randomly. One of the reporters didn't want somebody to win because she didn't like his name. And we all just burst out laughing. And it was just so it was just so nice to be back, you know, with everyone. Like, yeah, you said, you know, you see them during, you know, you have your meetings and yep. you know, but just, to be back with some of your, you know, fellow colleagues, it definitely was nice the last little bit.
It was a bonus. But again, it was really odd because I usually am allowed in to do, I can wander around. I can go in the door, I say hi to security, I check in on the old guy who turned into, you know, he was a grandpa recently. So I always ask him, how's your grandson? I stop and say hi to, you know, the people that work at Pavco, and I swing by the concession and say hi to them on the way in. And then you go to the elevator and you go up and you talk to a couple people from media, and you go through and you talk to the concierge, you say hi, you go inside and you wander back and forth and you talk to people in the hallway, and none of that happened. I walked up, had my temperature taken, had to wear my mask, in one door, down one hall, on one level, food is here, stay in this room.
Oh, you got food?
Yeah, we did get. Yeah.
You must have. The guy was T3. That's why. Us T3. They told us that like you can bring your brown bag lunch. Like,
Gotcha.
But it's it's funny that you said you were pretty stoked to get the call back to work, because I think when I found out that they were doing Whitecaps home games back, I immediately emailed Nathan and was like, because they were like, oh, limited media will be allowed. So I emailed Nathan. I was like, so who do I address this gift basket I have here to?
You got to get in, right? I mean, it was a really limited amount. It was really, really bare bones. Everything about it was bare bones.
It was, but it was nice to see live soccer again.
Sure, and now they're down in Providence Park down at Portland right now, and it's just really strange. We were trying to figure out a way to record my audio and send it down there.
Oh, that would be awesome.
It just wasn't going to work.
No,
so.
Yeah. Well, that would be cool. I mean, hopefully you keep trying that, because they got some games still left there. And what do you make of their season so far, and how do you like their chances going forward?
Well, it's been a tough one. I wouldn't say that this has been the prime season for them at all. There's been a massive amount of change. There's constant shuffling. They're having a really difficult time finding one real solid formation. Now, Jordy Reyna's gone. Evan Bush has been brought in. There's necessary changes that are happening, but they're not the changes that unfortunately supporters and fans want to see. So it's tough. But they look good a few nights, and then they don't look so good when they play LAFC. And they look good a couple other nights, and then they don't look so good when they play Portland. And it's really tough. It's this really nasty roller coaster ride that's going on right now. And moving forward, I mean, you got a boxer's chance at this point, really. I give them opportunity every night, as I'm sure most fans and supporters do. Yeah. Support for me is always support, no matter what. It's always, I'm a guy who cheered for the Canucks in the 80s when they were a sub 500 team, making the playoffs as like the final 8 spot and still being super, super happy. So I'm not deterred.
We're in. It's playoffs.
You know what I mean? And I'm not deterred by this. So I get it. Everything is cyclical and everything has its phases, and parts have to move and things have to come and go, and change has to happen. I don't know where it's going to happen. I don't know what's going to happen. But I don't see much more change happening for this year with the handful of games that they have left. Yeah. There may be the acquisition of somebody. I mean, CPL is done, right? There could be something from the CPL that comes in, but that's not until Christmas, I believe, if I'm correct. So who knows? It's a crapshoot.
Yeah, it's a crapshoot, but like you said, they have the boxer's chance. So, I mean, they're not too far away. So if they can string a couple more wins together.
This is the crazy part, is they're not out of it.
Yeah. I know, like, as bad as they played in some games, and like just the fan, like, fire everything, implode BC Place Stadium, send all the players to, I don't know, pick your Siberian desert and be done with it. Like,
yeah, no, it's true. Sell the team, sell off part of the team, get rid of everybody, new coaches,
spend the money, do this. I'm like,
right.
I'm like looking at my math. I'm like, what money? I'm like, they spent all of them of all of Davies' monies, guys. Like, that's right. It's not here. Like, you're not sitting on it. My favorite thing is when they sold Reyna to DC United, and they're like, oh, great, another $350,000 that the Whitecaps ownership is just going to sit on. I'm like, guys, this is fake MLS money. It's GAM. It's not.
Doesn't exist.
There's nothing that they can sit on.
There's no briefcase of money, right? Here you go.
They're not burying it like oh, Jeff Mallett's like, I'm gonna stick this under my bed. Thank you very much, Jordy. Like.
Yeah, no. So, I mean, we'll see what happens. I'm going to sit and watch each night. I'll still watch the games like everybody, again, support as always. I'll do my best to be there each night when I can. And we'll see what next year holds. Who knows what's going to happen moving forward at this point. We need to get through this year and see what could potentially happen in January. Nobody knows.
Yeah, I think it's a month by month, day by day, week by week, kind of with everything. So, well,
Right.
Don, before I let you go, because we've been chatting for a while here, probably longer than I should have had you, because you said you were busy today and squeezed me in at one, but um, we just kind of mentioned a little bit. Hopefully, we maybe see some rugby sevens back at BC Place, or something, or just some sports in general back. But what do you have going for the rest of the year here? Are you still doing your storytelling and stuff on YouTube and?
I have not done that. I think that's something I'm going to pick up again now that my kids are back in school. I put my kids back in school. My wife and I decided to put kids back in school, and they're happy. They're going to school and they're being really good. They're wearing their masks all day long. They keep their hands as clean as they possibly can. We make sure that they just scrub up with the hot soapy water lots. I feed them lots of really good food and keep them exercised and running around as best I can. But the rest of the year, I don't know. There's a few projects that are on the go. My wife and I just have managed to get some work, contract work out of UBC and stuff for some voiceover things. So
Nice.
that should keep us busy for the next little while. There is talk, actually, and this has been in the news a little bit, of the stakeholders and everyone involved with Rugby Sevens working on a schedule for Rugby Sevens for next year.
Oh, wow.
And it's a reality, because I think this is a tournament that has to happen for them.
Mhm.
So I know that there's been some positive talk that's hit the news about these progressive attempts to find a date. I think that's the best way to put it.
Yeah. Well, that would be really exciting to see. And I mean, even if it was, no fans or anything like that, it's they do it. The product on the field that they play for the rugby sevens is phenomenal. It's action packed. It's game after game after game, and I think they can still do a really good job. Sure, excuse me, with marketing and everything like that. So.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. And again, limited capacity. The place is huge. Like the building is really huge. And if you did work at limited capacity and you seated people properly, it's something that can definitely happen. So
Yeah, I think I forget, because they were looking at what it's like at 62,000 if they open up the top bowl, and then obviously limited.
58.7 is like packed shoulder to shoulder.
So I think they were probably around. I mean, 5,000 people is still 5,000 people.
They could do 15,000.
And that would be, that would be cool. That would be 15,000 people in amazing costumes. It's still 15,000 people in amazing costumes.
I would love to have the people back. That's the one thing that I'm definitely missing is I love going to work. I love doing it, but having the fans there is going to, when they come back, when this all gets back to whatever normal will be, it's definitely the fans that I'm looking forward to seeing.
Yeah, it should be good. I will be excited too when some fans can at least get to enjoy sports live, like we could, the lucky ones. So, well, thank you very much again for joining me today, Don Andrews, friend of the show, first friend of the show. So
wonderful. I'm happy to be the first. I will always be a friend of the show, man. I appreciate you calling me up and having an opportunity to chat.
Well, and hopefully, if you can't get your voice over for the Portland in Providence, maybe you can, hopefully lighten up those supporters' hearts and maybe do some stuff on Twitter for us, some calls, and if we get some goals, because I'm sure people would love that.
Yeah, I think that's what I'll try and do is just spend my time on social media instead of worrying about trying to ship myself down there. I'll do what I can for the people that are right here. So,
well, I'm sure that they would appreciate that. So thank you very much again, Don Andrews, for joining me.
Thanks, Joshua. I appreciate it, man. Have a great day.
Cheers. You too. We're actually voice of video games, as me and my producer were talking about in the green room in there a little bit. So Dead Rising is actually something that he has some video game credits for. So that's cool. I didn't know that as well. So Don Andrews, we chatted for a bit after as well, and he's always a great guy to talk to. And hopefully we see some of those Whitecaps tweets for the goals when they play Seattle. So The Vancouver Whitecaps are actually having media availability as we speak. The coach, I think he just finished up or is still going, but looks like they're good to go, and they're going to be going with Evan Bush starting Saturday against Seattle. Obviously, we'll have to wait for the lineups, but it just from the sounds of it, looks like Evan Bush will be starting. Teams seem, pretty fired up, ready to go. Coach was pretty snarky as always. Hit hard journalist with a pretty hard question about Jordan Morris when she fired off about him being a threat. He's a threat to everyone. I mean, what's Jake Nowitzki going to do? He's a threat to every team. So the media availabilities are always good with the Whitecaps, and again, JJ Adams gave the old screw the Pats, so I love that. And then in the next question, hard journalist asked Jake Nowitzki, said to Jake Nowitzki, great game, and he's a Las Vegas Raiders fan and she's a Pats fan. So it's always a lot of fun in the media. So want to thank you guys again for joining me here. Make sure to stay tuned on Saturday. We'll have lots of coverage of the Seattle Sounders and Whitecaps game for you. So tune into the Sports Talk Line website, and you can get lots of pregame, postgame, during the game, all that stuff after the game, lots of post-media shenanigans and fun as there usually is. So thank you for watching till the end. Thank you for commenting. Make sure to like and subscribe down at the bottom. Subscribe to the Sports Talk Line channel. We got all your NBA highlights, NBA Finals highlights, as the Lakers were pretty dominant in game 1 against the Heat, but we'll see what they can do in game 2. So NFL's back. We got a Thursday nighter tonight. Jets and Broncos. But hey, if you like NFL football, then you'll probably be watching it. So lots of great soccer shows. Saved by the Bellerin, Nate No Remorse Sports, the College Sports Show with Spinksy, Stephen Vanover and the gang. They got you covered with the NFC East and the Dallas Cowboys. So we got tons of stuff. So for the Sports Talk Line Network and the Unnamed Sports Show, I have been your host, Joshua Griffith. And remember to love sports, all sports.